Murray, you've been to these meetings, these decommissioning workshops before. Largely industry in there. Mm-hmm. You come in as a biologist, a marine biologist. Do you feel welcome?
Yes. I do feel welcome. The reason for that is that we have to team up and work together. So scientists and industry and government agencies need to come together and understand how ecosystems are changing, because the rates of change that we're now seeing and the scale of these changes across the planet are too big for any one sector to deal with on its own. People are coming together, so people get to know each other over the years, of course, but also people start to appreciate, actually, we do need to team up and we do need to work together on these issues. We need to share our information and make sure that the data that's collected is sustained over the long term, so that we can interrogate it and use that data for purposes that we can't even conceptualize now. So that's another reason that I think people have come together, and the teams have really started to form around this activity.
And are you finding now that the old barrier of industry hanging on to its data and not sharing it, is that breaking down?
So there's been great examples in the past where industries have centralized data. We've worked on one in the North Sea called the UK benthos database. Benthos are the animals that live on the sea floor. This information was centralized, and as a result of that decision back in the 1980s, we were able to reanalyze the information, to extrapolate the information on how those seabed communities have been affected by oil and gas drilling activity, and produce a really wide synthesis and analysis. And these kinds of ecological data sets back through time are very, very rare, and they are extremely valuable. So we need to do more of that and work out the best protocols to sustain that activity and to keep this information in good shape, so that the future teams of scientists can understand the changes in ecosystems that have taken place and will be taking place.
This meeting in particular, was it that data aspect that really excited you, or were there also other things that gave you confidence that there's a good future ahead?
Without data, we can't have information, so that's always fundamental. But I'm actually, I think, more interested in the opportunity to go out and observe nature, to go out and do things, make small observations that then we can build up scientifically. So if we see a coral on an oil platform, we can start to ask questions about where did that coral come from? Where do its larvae disperse to? When it spawns, where do its descendants go? Do they move off across the North Sea to the Norwegian areas where there are now networks of marine protected areas? Are these places connected? How do we use that information in the management of the North Sea for the wider good?
What is it that you're going to take away from this particular workshop?
So from this particular workshop, I think I'm going to take away the chance we have to start scaling. So I'm having more discussions. It's not just me, there's lots of people right across the sectors that are talking about how to come together, and we can really scale this. If we're working with the offshore oil and gas industry, these are really there are very few companies with the global spread and the global impact that these companies have. If you want to monitor ocean processes at a global scale, this is one mechanism that you can do that. Sensors are becoming smaller, cheaper, easier to deploy. They should be rolled out and used routinely in the monitoring of change. Ocean acidification is a great example of how we could get very high quality samples across the entire global ocean working with industry partners.
Which gives you a massive network.
It does, and it gives you therefore a means of assessing change at a global level based upon really, really robust sampling protocols.